Okay, so I wanted to make an update to my review, or just another review, better one. Last one is my first video, and it was a little long-winded. So anyway, here we go. This is a review on the Bersa BP9CC 9mm pistol. It stands for Bersa pistol 9mm concealed carry. So they made this just for concealed carry. The features of this gun, it holds 8+1 in the chamber, comes with 2 magazines. The price, I paid $360 plus tax. Obviously it's a single stack. It's a polymer frame, steel slide, I believe it's steel. The rifling on the barrel is polygonal rifling. It's got, I think, a 3 1/4 inch barrel, I want to say. Should actually check that before I say that. But it's got a short barrel, so a small gun. They made it for concealed carry. It's their first polymer frame gun, first polymer gun that they ever made, and it's only been around for about a year. First thing I noticed about it was I didn't like the mag release, but it's starting, after shooting a couple hundred rounds through it, it's starting to feel better, so not so bad. It wasn't quite stiff, and it seemed to stick a little bit when I first got it. Another thing I noticed, not really a big deal, but this was probably the dirtiest brand new gun I've ever bought. It was pretty dirty, so I cleaned it up. That was the first thing I did. Not a big deal though, but that's one thing I noticed. I got to shoot again today. I went and put another 100 or a little over 100 rounds through it, so I've shot about 225 rounds through this thing now. So far I've had no failures. The only malfunction that I did have was actually my fault. I went to chamber the first round and I just must have not pulled the slide back all the way. It was towards the last couple clips, and I guess I was getting lazy. But one of the rounds, the first round, did jam halfway into the chamber and stop, and I haven't hung up. But that was my fault. So as far as shooting and the gun functioning, it's functioned flawlessly so far. They say 250 to 300 rounds is the break-in period. They want you to use full metal jacket. No hollow points for that first 300, so you want to break this in with at least 300 rounds before you're going to carry this with any hollow point self-defense ammo of any kind. I've been shooting this PMC bronze, $13.50 a box, Sport Co. here in Washington, and so far so good. The first time I shot it, I was a little rusty, and I wasn't as good as I normally am, but today, starting to get used to this little pistol, and I'm still grouping pretty much down, or grouping low and to the right. And my last review I accidentally said low and to the left. I meant to say low and to the right. I thought it was just me, but I'm starting to believe that the sights probably need adjustment. And one thing I did notice, because I am grouping consistently low and to the right, so I noticed I have to adjust and aim a little high and to the left. But one thing I noticed was the slide, if you can see, has more play on this side, on the right side, than it does on the left, and it sits just, I'm not sure if you can see that, I'm holding it in the right place, but it sits just slightly cockeyed to the right, and I'm not sure if that's why it's shooting low and to the right, or if maybe it is still just me. I don't think so at this point though, after over 200 rounds through it, and I'm consistently grouping low and to the right. So I want to figure out why that is. But other than that though, it seems like a pretty accurate little gun. I tested it out from various ranges, from 5 yards all the way to about 15 yards. target shooting, taking my time, and I've tested doing some double taps, trying out the short reset trigger and rapid fire, just to see how fast I could shoot this thing with the short reset. That's one thing about this, is it has a short reset trigger, which is kind of neat. I'll show you that in a minute. And one of the other features, I just want to go over some of the features of this before I forget. This right here is a what do I call it? A loaded chamber indicator. So if there's a round in the chamber, this little piece of metal will flip up and protrude just a little bit up, and you can see that there's a round loaded in the chamber, so that's kind of nice. It has an interesting configuration with the sights. They're adjustable for windage, not elevation. I believe the front sight is a SIG and the rear is Glock. So I don't know why they did that, but that's what they did. The other features: the barrel polygonal rifling. There's no manual safety, but it has a mag safety, so it won't fire if the magazine's out and there's one in the chamber. Can't fire it. And it does have a built-in trigger safety, where the first stage is kind of like on, like a Glock, where they have the little trigger safety there. Only this has it. It's just a one-piece trigger. It's just the first stage of it is the trigger safety right there. So that's not, that's the safety, basically the trigger safety. So past that is starting to get to the actual trigger pull. And as far as the trigger, I noticed right out of the box it just had a tiny bit of creep, but it was actually, overall for this type of gun, it was pretty smooth, and it's starting to feel better, and breaking it in. So I hated the mag release at first, and because it was just really stiff, it didn't work very well, but now it's starting to loosen up, feel a little better, because I shoot it more and clean it and oil it and shoot it more, it'll probably be fine. So it's actually starting to grow on me. I was really skeptical at first when I brought it home. The mag release is kind of just maybe not like it altogether, because I'm the type of guy that if I find one thing I hate about the gun, I kind of just hate it all. But I'm starting to actually like this a lot. So on my last video, it kind of sounded like, I should have gotten a Glock, and I still probably will get a Glock. I'll probably get both. I'll probably just keep this, because I really want to test them both out and have them both for a while before I decide to sell one or the other or whatever. Maybe I'll just keep them both. So it's always good to have more guns. More guns are always fun. But so let's see what else. It's got the sight rail. You can mount a little flashlight or something on there, laser, whatever. I probably won't, but it's there. It's kind of nice that they have the option. One thing I did notice was the trigger guard. This is a small pistol. It's overall length of this thing is just over 6 inches. It's about a 6 1/4 inch overall length. This doesn't have the mag in. Mag doesn't really stick out very much, but the it's 4 3/4 inch by about 6 1/4. So it's fairly small, but it's big enough. I looked at smaller guns. I was pretty set on just getting a little tiny Kel-Tec for concealed carry. But then I was looking at this, and it just felt a lot better in my hand. The Kel-Tec just seemed too small. I never really liked Kel-Tecs, but they were cheap, and I thought, well, I just get one of those. But I actually decided on this because when I went to the store, I never heard of it before. When I went to check out some guns just to see what they had at my local gun shop, and they showed it to me. Immediately, I just felt good in my hand. I was looking at some of the other guns. I looked at the Bersa Thunder 380, the little, I think that's what it is, a Thunder. It's like a little PPK clone, basically. But I didn't want a 380. I figured if I'm going to go with anything other than a 22, might as well get a 9mm. I didn't want a 32 or a 380. Those are actually more expensive to shoot normally than a 9mm anyway, and I like the 9mm. It's very common, so I mean it's just easy to get, usually cheaper. So I've decided to go with this because it's the size of a lot of the 380s, but obviously it's 9mm. I looked at the Smith & Wesson M&P Shield, the Walther PPS, the little Walther 380, Kel-Tecs. I weighed my options. I didn't just go out there and get whatever, but I was really considering getting the CZ 75P-01, not the polymer frame one, but the aluminum alloy framed one. It's about half a pound heavier than this. Does have a higher capacity. It's a different price point. I also thought about getting a Glock 26, like I said, I probably still will get a Glock 26 as well. I'll probably keep them both, at least for a while. And yeah, so that's why I got it. I really like the feel. It just, I like that it's 9mm. The single stack makes it thin. I like the idea of carrying, a lot more capacity. I even thought about just, getting like a Glock 19, or even a 17, but then I'm just getting, a little too big to carry comfortably all the time. I wanted something that I actually would carry, because, when I decided to carry, I want to commit to it and I want to do it. So, with this I can, because it's small. I got this. As far as holsters for this, one downside is there aren't many holsters because it's only been around for a year. The other thing that kind of does suck is the magazines. It comes with two, and they're high quality. But if you want to get another one, which you probably will, I would like to get at least two more, but they're expensive. The magazines for this are like $40 to $48, and plus shipping, because you're probably not going to be able to find one locally. So if you want more of these, you're looking at, if you want to buy one more, you have to order it, and it might cost you $48. That's what I found one for $40, but it could cost you up to $48 plus shipping just to get one more 8-round mag. It's an 8-round mag. It shouldn't cost that much, if you ask me. So I don't know what's going on with that. That's one downside of this pistol, though, is the magazines are expensive. So think about that. If you're happy with two, then great, because it comes with two. So I might just keep two. Two's enough for me, honestly, but it would be nice to have more. So anyway, I think I started talking about the trigger guard, but then I started talking about just the overall size of it. The trigger guard, even for such a small pistol, I think it's just slightly too small. If they kind of made an oversized trigger guard, it would help. If you wear gloves ever, I have small, thin fingers and hands, and this fits perfectly without a glove. But if I was wearing a glove, or if I had bigger hands, even without a glove, if I had big hands, this probably wouldn't be the pistol for you. If you're a big, thick fingers, get something bigger with more room in the trigger guard, because this might kind of tick you off. I've heard also people having their finger pinched on this. That was one complaint. I haven't had that problem, but maybe my fingers are just shaped, so it doesn't pinch. But people are having a problem with it pinching right in there between the trigger guard and the trigger, between the bottom of it. So that could be an issue. Field stripping this gun is pretty easy. Basically, there's two little notches right here, and you kind of just grab like this, like you would maybe on another gun that strips the same way, like a Glock. You can do that. You just kind of hold it like that and match those, and then it's easier with like a little plastic wedge or something, but you just kind of pop that out and let go. Oh, wait, I forgot. There's a sequence to this. I forgot about this. Gotta remember. So what they want you to do actually, or you have to do apparently, maybe I should put this back in here. Whoops. Technical difficulties. Okay. So I forgot. One thing about this is kind of strange. When you field strip, I believe, let's see, I don't know what my instructions went. Let me see if I can remember. I only done it once. The sequence, I think, was you put an empty mag in, you pull the trigger, aiming it, you know, somewhere, making sure there's nothing in the chamber, and all that, so you make sure you're safe and you're pointing in the safe direction. You pull the trigger, okay, then you take the magazine out again, then I think is when you can do this. So let's see if I can do it now. So match up the two lines, pop the pin out, wiggle it out a little bit. There it goes. Okay. Now it'll slide forward. See, before, when I didn't do that, put the mag in and out and pull the trigger, it wouldn't strip down. You can't pull it out. I don't know, something with the trigger system, the way it works, you have to do that. So it's kind of weird. I've never had to do that on any other pistol, where you have to put the mag in, pull the trigger, take the mag out, then strip it. But that's what you got to do. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward and pretty much like a Glock, or a lot of other guns. But so that's that, and then you just pop the spring out here, and the barrel comes out pretty easily here. And so we got the slide and the barrel, and run a bore snake through there or whatever. I noticed it's a little dirty right now because I just shot it, but I did notice, probably can't see because there's, you know, it's dirty, but there was a tiny little patch of rust on the feed ramp. The feed ramp. Everything else looked like it had been polished. It was real smooth, but there was just this little patch of rust, right in, you know, not a lot. I mean, but it was definitely corrosion, right in the middle of that feed ramp. But you know, whatever. So it hasn't failed to feed anything at all. So I mean, it's functioning flawlessly. But I did notice that kind of disappointed me, just seeing that, you know. But not a big deal. Not really, at least. So that's that. Pop that in there. And come here. Okay, good. Line up the notches. Pin back in. That's it. So easy to clean, you know, and breaks down pretty quick, and it's not hard to do anything. My dad, you know, I used to shoot. Sometimes he had a Kimber Gold match, and field stripping that thing is just kind of a pain in the ass. I used to have what was it, a Ruger Mark III. That thing, field stripping, it was also kind of a pain. It was a little strange. But this is super easy. I like that, you know, I really like that. So, very easy to field strip. This is the first plastic gun I've ever owned. I know people are going to be like, oh, plastic, it's polymer. Well, plastic and polymers are the same thing. So, they're one and the same. You know, plastics, polymers are plastics. But you know, for a concealed carry gun, plastic is pretty much the way to go. It's the weight of this thing is enough that I can shoot this well. The recoil isn't too bad. I can be, you know, it's a short barrel, but you know, this thing, it just fits my hand real well, and it's got enough weight, enough size that I can shoot it real well. I don't know if I would be able to shoot a real small, like a very small Kel-Tec, or I don't know. I'm sure anything you get used to it. But I'm liking the size. It just seems like a good size. The weight isn't too light. You know, the lighter a gun is, the more recoil, the harder it's going to be to hold onto the thing and just, you feel like you can shoot it, or actually be able to shoot it well and accurately, which I think is important as far as your confidence when you're carrying something. You should be able to shoot it well. So if all you can shoot well is a 22, then carry a 22. If you gotta carry. So anyway, I'll get into more concealed carry stuff and some more videos. I'll try to focus this more on this pistol. I know I keep kind of rambling. But yeah, the BP9CC Bersa is pretty cool. I've never had a Bersa before. So far, I'm liking it. It's, like I said, the size for concealed carry. I mean, they made this specifically for concealed carry. I think the size is perfect for that. For me, I mean, I'm a small dude, but it fits great. I bought this holster. Like I said, they don't make a lot of holsters, or I don't know if anybody does. I think you can get two on Bersa's website, but I got this for 14 bucks. It's Uncle Mike size 16, and it fits almost perfect. One thing I'm going to do is modify it a little bit. I'm going to have somebody sew this corner over about an inch, or not inch in, but just like a little, about a 1/4 inch, just pinch it right there, kind of, so it's just a little more snug, and that would make it a really good fit. So that's a size 16, and this was only $14. I'm probably going to get a better holster. Everybody always ends up getting a bunch of different holsters, it seems like. I'm new to concealed carry, but so far, I've been carrying this thing around, and it feels really good. It actually feels like it holds my pants up better, so I thought it would be pulling my pants down, but it actually holds them up, which is kind of funny. So that's something to think about. Lack of holsters. You might have to get a custom-made holster, or just get one of these cheapo Uncle Mike's ones, and they work. And the other thing I thought about is I do want to put some grip tape, or like the skateboard grip tape, or like a rubber grip sleeve on the grip, because it doesn't have a lot of texture to it. It's pretty slick, especially if your hands are sweaty or something. If you went to grab this, it could slip if you didn't get a real good grip. If you were in a serious situation and you really had to draw quickly, and your hands are sweaty or whatever, and it's just couldn't get the best grip on it, and your draw was kind of messed up or whatever, it would be a little hard. So I think if you had some grip tape on here, then even if you just got just one finger right here, it would just grip real well, because as it is, it's pretty smooth. They textured it a little bit here, but it's still smooth. There's these little lines. But another thing to think about is it's pretty thin. If you have large hands, you might feel like this is too thin, and just too small in general, but yeah, it's a cool little gun. I like it. I really enjoyed shooting it today. The trigger is pretty neat. The short reset is kind of cool. So there's the safety, and then there's the pole. Oh, well, I forgot. It won't let me do it. Well, there's an example of the mag safety. So anyway, okay. So the gun's not loaded. You can see there's nothing in the chamber. If you can see there, I'm trying to get a good shot, hopefully. So right here, that travel is just the safety, and okay, and then the reset. Oh, I forgot. Hold on. Okay, the reset. That's it. That's the reset. So again, that's your follow-up shot. So it's pretty cool. When I was shooting earlier, I tried to make use of that, and it was kind of cool. I almost actually fired a second shot without meaning to, though, because it's so short. So that's something to think about. It takes a little getting used to this trigger. If that's something you want to utilize on this, is a short reset for double taps, or if you like rapid fire style target shooting, or for whatever reason, I think if you're going to conceal carry, you should be able to shoot rapid fire, and you should be able to, you should train for all kinds of stuff. But I mean, You should be able to shoot your gun well, basically. And so getting used to this trigger and doing double taps and just rapid fire shooting is, for me, going to take a bit of getting used to because I'm not used to it. But it's kind of neat though. It does allow you to do a follow-up shot like very fast with barely moving your finger at all. So yeah, that's something. But anyway, I'm sure I probably forgot some stuff I wanted to mention, but I'm going to cut it short. I'm probably rambling on, with a long-winded review. But overall, I think this is a good gun. The magazines are really expensive. That's my main complaint at this point. I hated the mag release at first. So far, though, it's loosening up, and it seems fine. There's been no malfunctions with this pistol whatsoever. Although I've only shot 225 rounds through it. So I'm almost through their so-called, they say 250 to 300 rounds is the break-in. That's how long they say it takes to break this in before they even want you to shoot anything other than, full metal jacket, round nose ammunition out of it. So that's another thing. I gotta go shoot at least another, a couple hundred rounds through this thing before I start shooting any self-defense or testing out any hollow point ammo in it. But that's fine with me. So that's the only real downside, and then the lack of holsters, but that's not too bad. I mean, the case sucks. They did give me it comes in a case so small that their literature won't even fit under the foam. They actually fold it around, and it also doesn't have, it's just really thin plastic, and the foam inside doesn't hold the gun, so that's why I should have been storing it with this, because otherwise it shakes around in there. But yeah, anyway, Bersa, check it out.